It's a wonderful night. A lot of things that we're going to speak about today are very personal, and how blessed and lucky I am to be able to tell you about these. Right, then could I just begin with Tracy and Tammy, because you just heard their voices. You influenced me in ways that changed my life. And that's your theory of that the universe makes sure that the people you must meet come into your life, even in the most bizarre and weirdest ways. So let me tell you about this program today, which is about Deena Sheldon. Kenny, can you just show them her face? Mm-hmm. She's the only woman on that page.
Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second.
Actually, Kenny, take the beginning, the cover. Yeah. She's on the cover. If you turn it around.
Sure. Well, there's a bigger picture here.
Oh, is it bigger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, this is a complicated beginning story, because today I'm not going to speak of my pictures. I'm going to begin speaking of the people I love and know. And as time goes by, I will always speak about people in here as well. This lady is Deena. Can you point to it here, Kenny? Mm-hmm. On the painting? Mm-hmm. This is Deena Sheldon. And this is her partner, Jerry. Jeff. Jeff. This is a story unlike any I've told before. But I told you long ago that Eric had wanted me to do a painting of people I admire, to show future generations that there are people in the world who do kind things for others, that future generations will know that we are not only what the newspapers say that we are, because we're more than that. Deena first came into our gallery. Those of you who live near me have known for years that we had a business called Follow Your Art, and that it was a picture framing and gallery store. And this very pretty young woman came in to frame some pictures. And that's Deena on here, and that's her again over here. And it started a friendship that is so deep. And we never really knew much about her. We knew that she worked with cameras, and that we framed pictures that she did. But we didn't understand what working with cameras meant. To us, the camera was a little gadget, and you clicked something, and then you had a picture, and you went to get it developed, and then you put it into an album. Deena invents. Deena has, and in this also, can I have it a minute? Because in it there will be pictures of her with the things she does. Wait, Dory, this time I really prepared everything, just like you told me to. But you know what, Kenny? Mm-hmm. I have most of them in my iPad. So let me do that later. Let me go back to this right now. Deena is in the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame, class of 2022, the only woman who has been so honored. And I also need to speak about her partner, Jeff, because we're emotionally and personally their family. Deena invents, and until she told us about the Sports Broadcasting Hall of Fame that she will be on, we didn't know what that meant. And so, first I called Dory, and I said, Dory, I never did anything like this before. This is not just somebody who's good at things. Oh, my love, this is a genius. We need to do it differently. Can you give me advice? And she did. She planned it. She said what to do. She gave us a page from which we should read, which we will do. And at the beginning I thought, let Dory run this. And then I thought, no, I can't. And here is the reason. I never invite anybody because I know what Facebook goes through. One word that somebody says, that somebody will scream about and say this is prejudiced. People do not hear anything that they don't want to hear. And I don't want any controversy. I want to tell you this is one of the most remarkable people, and that by simply reading what others have to say about her, there won't be any problems, because she already told me, Deena told me, there have been comments of such meanness. Why is she honored? I do things too. How come they didn't put me on that honor? And I thought, no. On my program, I don't want controversy. And so Dory trained us in how to do this. And we're going to begin by telling you that Deena is unique. And I'm going to begin to read, and then I'm going to ask Kenny if he would help me and read also. During her 40-year career as a camera operator and technical innovator, Deena Sheldon has done it all. Her resume includes 9 Sports Emmy Awards, 12 Super Bowls, 17 Daytona 500s, 17 Indy 500s, 24 Kentucky Derby and Triple Crown races, 6 U.S. Open tennis championships, 3 Olympics, and 11 years shooting Monday Night Football and 12 shooting Sunday Night Football. As co-VP of the Sports and Entertainment Division of the Cameron Pace Group, she was a 3D producer and operator on 8 3D concert and feature films. This tiny, remarkably beautiful young woman, we heard many of her broadcasts. She interviewed presidents. She interviewed people of such international renown. And not only that, She filmed them while they were doing sports. I would like Kenny to take over, bit by bit, some of the reports of what people said about her.
Sure. Deena took pride in learning the nuance of each sport, which allowed her to be smart visually and react in an instant, a trait needed in live sports television. This energy toward understanding the most detailed parts of the game always put her in a position to be where she needed to be to help us tell the story. Craig Janoff, longtime ABC Sports and News Director. Deena Sheldon is built for this job, mentally, physically, and professionally. Have you ever seen her high beam smile right before she goes into the middle of a post-game scrum to get the perfect shot? She's enormously talented. People love her, and she gets the job done. Leslie Visser, Sports Broadcasting Hall of Famer. Deena is one of the most prepared and sports knowledgeable camera operators I've ever worked with. Her ability to identify players, coaches, general managers, owners, and wives is unparalleled. Her ability to get those shots prior to being asked is part of what separated her as a member of the crew. Her devotion to making the show great was on display for all to see just by observing her work. Fred Godelli, Sports Broadcasting Hall of Famer.
Oh, but let's stop and then we'll continue.
Okay, sure.
And I'll tell you how we met. Here's how I have to tell you of Deena as a person. She walked in for us to frame some pictures and kept coming back, always laden with good food. She wanted to make sure that we ate correctly. And so, when I think of Deena, I think of plastic bags with grapes and fruits and vegetables, because she was a vegetarian and she felt that we were not eating correctly. Deena is a giver, but she's not the only one. Her partner, Jeff, according to what Deena said, is a more brilliant photographer than she is. He has always stepped aside and let her get the glory. And together, they do the impossible. They have filmed so much. My favorite of hers is a whale jumping into the air. Deena and I were talking seriously. She said, I need to do service. I need to become somebody who changes the world. And I said, Deena, now you don't need expensive cameras. I'm broadcasting to the world for free. You can do it. What would you like to tell on free television that is of service? So we spoke about working with children who have disabilities. And I told her how I learned from TV, free of charge. A little boy was born without arms. And he wanted to shoot a bow and arrow. And television showed how he does it with his feet. And I said, Deena, you and Jeff can do magic. Because it's for free. You don't have to depend upon the incredible cameras that you invented and did that cost money. Suddenly the world changed. Suddenly there is mass communication at no price. In all my writings, I used to write, when I do my book, I really always knew that I was going to do a book about the paintings I do, etc. I don't have to. It's free. On my website, you can see every painting I did. Not only that, the writing that I did is there too. There is a miracle happening of communication. I blame it all on the James Webb Space Telescope, because suddenly, for no money at all, except turning on my television set, I see planets which died billions of years ago. How do I know that sooner or later there won't be the people who passed away in the shape that they are now? Let's begin to realize that we are living right now in an age of communication which does not cost. I remember asking Kenny, John Terracusa is doing the film that you will hopefully soon get a link to of my work.
And you have lots of hellos, including from John.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you want to start reading the comments or
If you like.
Yeah.
Okay, deal.
But I'll keep on right after.
Right, okay.
We'll talk about magic.
Tracy Hepner is watching, and Tammy Smith is watching. And they both let us know that they hear you really well. And Dory is here, the Dory you spoke about, and she says, what a great color shirt. And Janine is here watching. Tammy sends you lots of hearts from what you said. Janine says, hi Hedy, hi everybody. Kent is here from Sweden, he's watching. Susan La Rosa is watching.
Oh, Susan, I have so much to tell her.
Abby May is watching. Julie Williams is watching.
Hi, Julie.
Martha Bilski says, hi Hedy. And Carol Hodkin is watching. And Tammy Smith says, sports broadcasting a Hall of Fame. That is totally badass.
That's why we're doing the program on Deena.
Yes. And John Terracuso says, hi Hedy, hi Ken, hugs from California. Tammy is saying, looking forward to the film. And John,
me too.
Yes. And John says, I am working on it, and so is Matt. We are almost there. And Carol says, you look stunning. And Julie says, you look looking great as always. Love you and Ken.
Okay.
You were just talking about the documentary.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to do something. I want you to join me in a mission. I'm looking for magical things. Because I'm 93. When I was born, my parents took photos, little photos. For John, who's doing the film, he gave me the job of looking for photographs of specific things. And I looked at the boxes I have and the albums that I went through, and it suddenly hit me. My life. My life, which I lived, was put together into the magic of images. I can see my mother. I can see my father. I can see my brother who passed away when he was a baby. No, he didn't pass away when he was a baby. I mean, I saw him as a baby. My brother was the hero in my life. And next week, I'm getting company from somebody who was once a little Chinese foreigner on my Lower East Side. And we're going to sit down after we've hugged each other and share each other's lives. And she just sent me photographs from their trip to Barcelona. Again, a machine. You go into a machine and it flies into the air. Only because somebody looked at birds and said how and invented a way. Who are we human beings that we are able to create what we create?
You asked a question. You said for people to share things that they find magic, that they
Yes.
think are magic. Would you want them to write it in now in the chat if they want to?
I would love it.
So if anybody wants to write that in, kind of what gives you a sense of awe or seems like magic to you, feel free to write that in.
Let me tell you a magic which is not a magic, but is magic for me. I can hear again. I had gone for years knowing that my hearing is bad and getting one after another hearing aid. And whenever it didn't work well, they would talk me into getting a more expensive one. And then I grow wax very easily in my ears. I could start a candle factory. And last time when I went to get my ears cleaned from wax, I said to the girl, who is not a girl, she's a dear friend, she's a doctor, her name is Vanessa Rizzi, and I said to her, I hate to travel as far as I do to get the hearing aids cleaned, but I have no choice. She said, why? There's one here in Long Beach. And I said, no, nobody told me. And she said, yeah, I'll send you there. And so, now I can hear. Why can I hear? His name is Dr. Bill Kent, and he is an all-island hearing at 108 West Park Avenue in Long Beach. I went to him and I said, I have hearing problems. When you clean my hearing aid, will you show me how? Now, up to now, whenever I went to get my hearing aids cleaned, I would hand it to somebody at the desk and they would disappear with it and bring it back. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But Bill Kent did. He said, let me show you. Sit down. And he took a toothbrush. He said, take an old, he didn't take a toothbrush. He told me, take an old toothbrush and brush. And he explained why. He explained that the ear also sheds skin, and that goes in. And you've got to brush it out with the toothbrush. Nobody ever told me that before. They disappeared. I can hear. Now, every morning when I put my hearing aids on, I giggle and I say, are you going to be there working? Are you going to be working? And then I say, thank you, you're working beautifully. I talk to them. Now, I still know shrill voices give me a hard time. Women are not as wonderful to listen to as men. Men, women tend to, and they're going to invent a machine where even squeaky mice can be heard. But at the moment, I can hear. Okay, let me go back to my Deena, okay? Deena came to visit me, and so did Jeff. We had also gone to California. Eric used to love traveling. And we went to visit him there. And speaking of magic, imagine somebody saw a bird flying and invented the airplane. How much more do we not notice anymore? Let me find out from you if you can begin to travel through the world and admiring it. Maybe the world doesn't get admired enough. When I fell and broke my right shoulder and my right hip, and I was in this wonderful rehab place in Long Beach, Park Avenue, and because they gave me so much medication, the doctors, I wasn't functioning anymore. I was always floating. And one day when we all sat down on the table for eating, and I knew I'd had nightmares that said I could never paint again, never draw again, because my arm had been broken. And I moved my hand over to the table where there was paper, and I could write the name that I use in my artwork, Hedy Pagramansky. And I could do the curves. And the burst came out of me. I felt it like a rush of air, of gratitude. And I said, so this is all I needed to do. I hadn't been grateful. The moment I felt gratitude, my arm worked. And I thought, and I want to share this with you, if we do not show gratitude for all that we have, we lose it. If you do not see, and if you see a person with poison in you, that person returns the poison. Eric used to say, if a dog knows that you're afraid, he'll bite you. And you know why that's true? Because the adrenaline that comes from fear, the dog smells and will bite you. Can you read the last comments?
I sure can. We have a lot of magic entries. A lot of people saying magic. Tammy says Google is magic. And then Tammy says cotton candy is kind of like magic. Martha Bilski, by the way, says, that's awesome, Hedy. I'm glad the hearing aids are working for you. Julie, our Julie, says, magic is the selflessness of my mother-in-law, who has cared for her disabled daughter every day for 35 years so she can live independently. A truly magical and superhuman example of love, sacrifice, and devotion. Martha Bilski says, language is magic. And we can talk to each other and understand what we are thinking, which I always think is miraculous.
Yes.
Dory said, I posted the link to the awards ceremony on Hedy's page. Enjoy. Thank you, Dory. Kent says, wishing you all a Merry Christmas. In Swedish, I don't think I should try to pronounce that because I'll massacre it, but it's there written for everybody.
Thank you.
And Carol Hodkins says, the ocean is magic for me. And Hardev Mangat is watching. And we have a birthday.
Yes, we're going to sing to Paula. Happy birthday to you. Can he sing too? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dearest Paula. Happy birthday to you. And before we go, thank you, Dory, because Dory, You are magic to me. You've taught me so much and will continue teaching me. And I thank you for allowing me to learn from you how to do Deena's program, because I couldn't have done it without you. And I think all of you are magic to me. Thank you.
There are so many things that can be said in praise of Deena Sheldon, and I'm sure it's all documented in the program. An endless list of important assignments the world over, spanning many, many years, a distinguished career in television sports. It's obvious she's a master of her craft. But above all else, at least to me, what shines through about Deena is the joy she takes in her work, her irrepressible personality. She has one of the great and endearing smiles that you'll ever experience. And that smile is ever present. It could be 5 below zero in Green Bay on a Sunday night, and she's up in her perch under a half dozen layers of clothing. I mean, that can be brutal. The announcers, after all, they've got heaters upstairs. They're in a booth. She's freezing up there for 3.5 hours, or whatever it is. And yet the smile is always there, and that smile is infectious. The joy she takes in her work makes her a joy to work with.
Congratulations, Deena. We're all really proud of you. And when I think about the many years that we worked together, all I can think about is your execution, your preparedness. You prepared for any event like you were doing the play-by-play job, the analyst job, the producer job, and the director job all at once. And when the red light came on, you were always perfect. So congratulations from all of us.
In the world of sports television, as you travel around and you work on crews and, in all different sports, you don't see a lot of female camera people. It's you see females in other positions, but you don't see women running camera. And Deena was one of the first women I've ever encountered who ran camera. And I thought it was a little different because obviously you're in a group now where no one else is like you. But she found a way to fit in, and she found a way to stand out. And the way she stood out was no one could top her preparation. She is one of the only people that I've ever worked with who, before the season started, asked me for the media guides of every team in the league so she could memorize what the quality control coach of the Chicago Bears looked like, because that was going to be her assignment if the Bears were on the near side of the field. And that's the way she approached everything. Deena's preparation was second to none. Everybody had tremendous respect for her. And the thing that made it comforting for me as a producer, and I'll speak for Joe Asikoff here as a director, we always knew she would have the shot that she was supposed to have, framed perfectly and on time. And when you're doing a show as big as Sunday Night Football, you can't wait, and you can't really direct somebody into it. You've already directed them into it hours ago or weeks ago, and she was never not in the right spot. And I can't tell you how comforting that is when you're in front of the truck and those shots need to be had now, and she was always there.
Deena's talent is rather unique. She was always a step ahead, creating the precise shots at the precise moment, seizing the big action down to the smallest impactful emotional details. As a director from the world of news and sports, I can almost take her camera blind. That's how much I trusted her eye. It seems nothing stood in her way on the field or a convention floor. Her ability to know what, when, and who to capture is a testimony to her astonishing talent.
Throughout Deena's horse racing career, she'd always been a high-type horse ISO. But in the 2018 Preakness Stakes, we asked her to be the Turn 2 exit camera, which is an important camera that covered the loading of the horses for the race and was a key replay in the final turn. Little did we know this would end up being the defining live shot of this race. With the track engulfed in fog, Deena had the image of the horses as they emerged from the fog and entered the home stretch. I'm a big believer that things happen for a reason, and Deena was meant to be there to capture this moment. As always, Deena had the shot of this race and every event she ever won.
I feel like I was one of the lucky ones that got to work with you over the years on so many great events. And you made every event you worked better. You always showed up on time. You were always prepared. And I think you probably always had a smile on your face. I don't think I ever remember working with you and you weren't smiling. You're a fantastic technician, but you're even a better person.
I once shared with Deena the reason I asked her to go from a camera car to a headhunter in the NFL playoffs and Super Bowls we were doing. I simply said to her, it's because you're my best shooter, always the most prepared, and has a desire to grow and enhance any program that's lucky enough to have her as a primary shooter.
She always had this really wonderful smile. It kind of lit up, the room that she was in. And, she was able to combine that toughness with that sweetness, which not a lot of people can pull that off. I know I can. So I always love that about Deena. And I'm just really proud she's in the Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the woman who thankfully traded Capezios for cannons, the inimitable Deena Sheldon.
Who can turn the world on with her smile? Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? Well, it's you, girl, and you should know it. With each glance and every little movement you show it, love is all that you're ready to waste it. You can never tell me why don't you take it?
Happy birthday, Mike. First, I want to thank the people who live in my heart and soul every day. My mom and dad, my grandfather, my coach Dean Brittingham, and my friends Georgia Green, Mary Gaffney, Ann McGregor, and Eric. I also want to reach out to my closest friends who really wanted to attend tonight. Matt and Ro Ryan, Hedy Page, Clay DeGrew, Grant Paulson, Mike Everett, Seamus O'Connor, Shelley and Lee Archibald, Sherry Sears, Joyce Zachary, Angie and Ruth McCartney, and Dr. Joshi. That would have been a big table.